Becoming pop stars. Becoming upstarts.
Who doesn't need more money or a great money maker on their side? A real estate agent focusing on investment. Welcome to Meet the Agent podcast. I'm Wendy Clare of Juge Interiors. Today we meet Cameron Tyers of The Way Property Investment to talk about just that. Welcome, Cameron. Firstly, I think it'd be great to get to know a little bit more about you. What do you like doing outside of investment and real estate?
Yeah, I mean, I do love life. I love traveling. I've traveled quite a lot throughout my life. And before I was doing this sort of job and career, I was a nurse. And that gave me the opportunity to travel Australia. I got to work over in some remote parts of the world like Ethiopia and Pakistan, but then also some great places like Dubai. So I love traveling. It's something I'm passionate about, and I'm not one of these people who wants to go back to the same country twice, I guess. I did the Camino de Santiago, and that's a big walk across northern Spain, and that's how I came up with the name The Way, because I try to relate buying property as a journey, and so was this. It was a life-changing event for me, doing the Camino de Santiago, and so it was like a journey through doing this big hike, and it's just take it on board is similar to buying a property. So traveling's a big one.
Me
Love
too.
the football.
When do you get time for auctions and all of that sport? I don't understand that.
Look, it's good to be able to record the games.
Okay. Right. Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, look, I do have priorities.
How would your mum describe you?
Me and my mum are quite similar in a way. We're both driven. And yeah, she's always telling me she's proud of me. She's never really gone down the investment side, but she's done well in her own path. So she's got her own non-government organisation, and she does cataract surgery in Ethiopia.
Wow.
So she's got her own Order of Australia medal, so I'm very happy for her for that. But yeah, so she's achieved a lot, and she said to me once that after she got the medal, she goes, "I can see you getting one of these, Cameron." So I thought that was quite great. So I think that she thinks I'm a high achiever and that I'm going to succeed in life. And
So you both clearly got that entrepreneurial mindset too, I would think, from that.
yeah, it's sort of like we put our mind to something and nothing's getting in the way.
I have a question I'm asking everyone, and it's really fun getting the answers, and not to be taken too seriously, but in terms of music or music stars, is there a particular star that you would think best kind of fits who you are or your vibe?
I'll be honest, and this will probably get a few laughs, but I'm not scared of getting up on the karaoke, I must say.
Great.
So
You can be honest.
I do love belting out a bit of Bon Jovi, Living on a Prayer.
Fantastic. I like that.
I do like the song of It's a Bit of a Struggle.
Man once said the time is money as I beg for a couple of dollars to rub together. Hope I can meet the agent.
Holding on to what we've got.
My wallet feels light like a feather while my boss is talking like he knows better.
Just make it work.
Hope I can meet the agent.
I guess when it comes to the way I'm going with the business, it's like, this is what we've got, this is what we work with, and this is how we can get you that result to what you want. So yeah, I like working with people and building that strategy to be able to help create wealth throughout their journey in buying property, and then down the end we can see their workflow and see how the property's created that for them, and yeah, then we can start again and working with what we've got. So,
Right, that's good. And so your energy is a bit of like, bang it out, let's get going now.
that's right, let's do this. Yeah, very, very passionate about it. Want to work with you, and hopefully we can create some great goals that you want to achieve with your property, and that you can have some freedom at the end.
That's fantastic. I love that. I feel like I know you so much more already in a good way, you know? How does that kind of personality lead you into what you're doing and where you are today and your company and your mission?
Yeah. I sort of bought property back 2014 was my first property, and I just sort of, I guess, starting my nursing career, and I was told by quite a few people back then, oh, you should get into the market of housing and stuff. But and I did that, and then my partner at the time, we sort of looked at like, oh, let's get a couple, and we're like, oh, right, we can do this. You know what I mean? So and then things sort of went a bit different in that relationship, but I just had that drive and I wanted to start looking. There's no reason why I can't get another property. And then I had that in my head and I was like, well, I can get the equity to do that and then do another one and then another one. And then it just gets to that point is like, as stressful as it can be, I really love the buying process. I love the thought of, well, buying one and then you're looking at the realestate.com and all that sort of stuff. And then, working out how much you can borrow and then trying to find the right property.
The hunt.
And
You're on the hunt.
the hunt. Yes, always on the hunt. But it was about the whole process of it. And it's stressful. And I find it even more stressful now than it was pre-COVID.
Really?
There's a lot more buyer activity I find now. There's a lot less demand. The population's growing rapidly. And so to find the right investments is a lot harder. And I bought two of my properties in like the mid to high threes. And this was 2019, 2021. There is the places I'm looking now for these ranges, you would not even think about. But the properties I bought back then they're worth now over 758. You know what I mean? So it's just making, and there's a lot more resources out there now to make sure that you're doing the process right, that you can look at data and make sure you're tracking it to make sure that you buy that right property in the right area in the right location. But I think with the beauty of having a buyer's agent, and I have used a buyer's agent myself prior to starting this journey, and they had all the data and the tools, but there's a lot more now. So we're a lot more resource focused and, resource rich, I guess you could say, to help make sure that our clients make the right decisions.
That's
So I think it's the availability to all these different resources and the the knowledge that people are gathering nowadays around property investing and strategy and making sure that you're doing it. And your ultimate goal is multiple people are different things and everyone's different. But some people just want to pay off their mortgage, so they'll buy a property to do that. Some want cash flow. Some want to set themselves up for retirement. So it's all individual based, but there's multiple different avenues you can do it. And I guess the first bit starts out, what do you want? Working out that strategy, working out that North Star. And then going from there, what is your budget? What can we do with this amount of money to get where you want to be up here? And that's the part I love about it, the whole strategy behind it. Because I've been lucky enough that I've reached mine. And I got told that at this point in time, I can't borrow anymore. Not that I'm not going to be buying later on, but I feel I'm comfortable where I'm at. And that's where I want to be when I do retire. But, my life's changed obviously over the time. But yeah, I know where I want to be, the goal I've reached, and I've done what I had to do. And now it's just writing it out, setting the goal, and reap the rewards at the end. But it's all about a mindset. I think a lot of people think differently about money. Some aren't willing to take risks. Some people take too many risks. But it's just about getting it right at the start, I think. So, yeah.
So how do you help clients when you feel that they're on the wrong level of risk? That must be a bit of a difficult conversation, like either pull back or go, or is that just, part of something you're used to talking about, I suppose?
Yeah, I mean, it's, as I said, everyone's different, but I remember chatting to a bloke not long ago, a month or two ago, and he's like, oh, I've got 13 properties, rah, rah, rah. And I'm like, okay, great. Well done, mate. Like, that's awesome. But what's your actual goal? Like, he goes, oh, I don't know, actually. I don't really have one. So it's great. You can tell everyone I've got 13 properties, he's got 13 properties in the same region. And to me, he's wasting money. So he's like, yeah, I'm really paying a lot of land tax. Yeah, I'm like, you are. Like, well, we can work out a strategy so that we could, I can't give you financial advice, but yeah, we can set up a strategy with your accountant and get other people in the team that we can all work together to make sure that you're diversifying your portfolio instead of having all your eggs in the one basket. And then we can, maybe sell a few properties off. And then we could look at purchasing in other states around Australia that's going to be more beneficial to you. And then we'll be reducing your land tax, we'll be increasing your wealth in different areas. And it's not always about the number of properties. It's always my big concern when people come up and say, I've got 13 properties. Like, what are you actually trying to achieve? Because you can get to that point where you start going backwards instead of going forward. So, yeah, it's
So people can just be
definitely
hoarding properties, thinking the more properties, the more money, and that's a little bit of a
That's right, and it's not always the case. So yeah, and the big talk about the mum and dad investors. Some people only need two to reach what they want to get to. You know what I mean? And like, if you're at 50 or 60, you're not going to be wanting to buy another 6 properties because it's not going to be much use to you. But if you're looking at maybe 1 or 2 properties, that's all you need to get in to make sure that you're happy when you retire. I mean, that's great.
Where does it become this big idea about the agent becoming the investment partner? That's quite interesting. You think of the real estate agent as being sort of one transaction only. And am I right in feeling then that you're sort of staying with your clients through the longer journey or joining them earlier?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I get different clients at different stages in their investment journey. And instead of being like the transaction mindset, I want to be sort of more like a wealth building partnership, I guess you could say. And so, yes, we'll buy your first property, but let's hopefully give it 12, 18 months. And then we can look at, oh, wow, we've made quite a good amount of equity here because we've bought in the right location and made some really good capital growth. Then we've got that equity and we can maybe look at going again. Doesn't necessarily going to be in that region or that state. Depends where the market is, because the market 18 months ago is going to be completely different to what the market is now. So that's a strategy we'll look at, and the time frame of what you're looking to buy at. So we have many different tools that can allow us to do that, and picking the right location for your need. And a lot of it's your affordability too. Some people can borrow 400, some people can borrow, 800. But it just depends where you're at. And it doesn't matter where you're at, it's about making the right decision. So
the investment partner, is that a new sort of trend in real estate, or is that just you sort of making that really interesting niche?
Well, I'd like to think it's me, but I don't think it probably is. I know that a lot of buyers agents really like to work with their clients to make sure they succeed, and then that they'll keep coming back to us. However, if it's that strategy on it, and I keep touching base on strategy because it's the most important way to make sure that you're going to succeed in this journey. But one thing I like to focus on is picking the right assets. And generally I find with all the clients that come to us is that these people, they haven't been looking for a week or two. They've been looking for months, and they're trying to find the property. And, and people that have got that in their own, in the one region, they haven't looked outside their backyard, and that can be dangerous too. And they're missing out on so many other opportunities. So, for example, like I had one particular client, and he was looking to buy in his own backyard, and his own backyard was Cairns, and it's a great place to buy as well, especially for investments. But I felt for him it was a different area. So I chose Toowoomba for him, and we all sat down and did the strategy for him, the amount of growth that he's wanting over a certain period of time. The infrastructure that's being built into Toowoomba is just amazing. And he's wanting to build that capital growth quite quickly. We were struggling to find a bit because of the owner-occupiers that were all coming in, and, a lot of investors as well. And he was like, oh, I don't want this house. I want like a 4-bedroom house, brick and layered up. And he said, well, what about Mackay? And I said, we can definitely find you that. That's not a problem. But we can also buy you a 3-bedroom house in Toowoomba instead of a 4-bedroom house in Mackay. And you're going to go up 9% in Mackay, but you're going to go up 15% in Toowoomba. And so you're going to get that quicker capital growth so then we can start going again. So it's just that's an example of how we do
Yeah.
it. But it's also knowing the markets as well. Like every state, every region has different markets and the way they're going. And 3 years ago, you're looking at Rockhampton and you're getting some really great places for like 300, and then they're making quick equity. But they've sort of, I feel personally that they've sort of hit their peak now, and the quality you're getting for around your 400s or 500s is just not there. They're close to flood zones. They're high socio-economic issues, so you just really got to pick the right area at the right time. And
Wow.
it's the famous word of the hot market. Well, hot markets are great, but they're already done. You want to get in before they're becoming hot. So it's looking at those trends and values and what's been happening in that region to make sure that you're getting in before people start talking about it.
Right, true. Like the share market, from what little I know of that, but
Yeah.
that's sort of the advice, isn't it? So you're more
Yeah.
in touch with what's booming and what's, history in a sense, what's yesterday. So
Yeah.
that's a
And like
really
for me
good help.
personally, like unless you're wanting an owner occupier in Darwin, I probably won't look at it because it's too volatile. And I feel like it's going to be a little bit like, some places that were talked about a couple of years ago, like your WAs, like Perth and that. So they've been flatlined for a long time, and then they've had a peak, and they're still going quite strong. But you've got the cycle where it shows on the other side it's not so great. So if you're wanting to hold property, I always look at it as a long-term investment, not a commodity where you're day trading essentially. You're going to get into your Perths and hold it for 2 or 3 years, sell out, and now you'd be in Darwin doing the same, and you're going to make some good money, but over a longer period of time, you're going to be a lot more better off. So it's about choosing those right markets. I'm a building wealth partner instead of just a transaction mindset. Property is not a commodity; it's a long-term hold.
How has your own career evolved beyond simply listing and selling property?
I feel like it's unlocked a lot of opportunity. Um, so, my work's become about like finding opportunities for people, investment education, like buyer's agents are becoming quite well known now. And it's a lot like I feel like when mortgage brokers first started, and this is where buyer's agents are. But learning more about doing the right due diligence, the portfolio planning, the negotiations, and putting the offers in, making sure that clients don't overpay or they're getting the right property, and avoiding mistakes that your general people make. Like for example, like a property I put an offer in on just yesterday. We got blown out, and it's not because we knew the value of the property. We knew what it was worth. My client's an investor, and I just said, look, I'm sorry, mate, we're not paying that because you're waiting 2 years to get your money back from where you were. And a lot of people would say, I like that house, it looks pretty. A lot of people, even owner occupiers, they'll go in and go, oh, I love how well staged this place is. They've done a really good job and all this, and they're paying $100,000 too much. And a lot of agents will know that they're going to pay that, and a lot of agents will openly say, "Yeah, we overprice," and then they'll stage it as well because it looks so good. But if you've got the data to back it up and say, "Well, no, this property's this, not 100,000 more than what it's actually advertised at," you're not going to pay it. And it's my job to make sure my client doesn't pay that. I want to try and get it before, it's advertised, get it off market. And the Toowoomba couple I was able to buy for we are able to get it 18,000 below the market value. So that's the aim for investors. and owner occupiers. One lady I've just had, she's really struggled for a long time to get into the market. She's had, unfortunately, a recent, breakdown in a relationship, and she just wants to get out. And she'd been looking for quite a period of time, and she was just really struggling. And so, yeah, I was able to start looking for her for a property and trying to find the right one. And she said to me that she can't deal with the agents anymore.
Oh,
And I said, fair enough. Like, I understand where you're coming from. They're doing their job and they're trying to get the best price. And I said, like, our job as buyers agencies to have rapport with the real estate agents and, have the best interests for you as our client and as they do for them. Because a lot of people forget that the selling agent is working for the seller and I'm working for you as the buyer. So that's the hardest part. And yeah, within about 2 weeks, we were able to get her a place, and yeah, she went unconditional today. So it was great.
wow.
Very excited for her. And yeah, she's able to get it reset and refresh and start making memories in her own home now. So that's
New
great.
beginnings. Excellent.
Yeah.
Staging. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean, staging's great. I mean, it looks, I think it's a great concept, to be honest with you. And especially when real estate agents use it to enhance a house. And, there's two parts of it. That I remember stats saying, I don't know exact numbers, but a lot of properties won't sell when it's empty. The chances of them to selling is not really as strong as it if it's staged or you've got your own furniture. Because I think it's a lot of it's your mindset and your psychological part is like, oh, my couch would fit here, or, oh, my bed's big enough it'll fit here and all that. And, I've never gone into an empty display home. I'm not sure if you have yourself, because they're all displayed absolutely stunningly. And I think that a great thing that agents are doing now is staging homes so they look immaculate, but it's also bringing that other side of it, the psychological side, where your emotions kick in. And I use this analogy quite a bit, but you'll go to, say, the shops and you'll try on a pair of pants 3 times and say, oh, I like these, but I'm not paying this much for them, and then put them on the rack and out you go. And then on a Saturday morning or afternoon, you'll go to a beautifully staged home and you go, oh, I love this. I could live in here, no problem at all. And there's an extra $100,000 just because how good it presents. And this is my job, where the emotions I feel is to take that out of it. So when I go to an open home, I try and go in with that blank canvas, the mindset, looking at it. I don't know what your furniture is, so that's not for me to decide, but I can give you the dimensions of the room, and that's something you can work out. But for me, it's the right location for you. It's is that a good condition of the home, to make sure you're not just walking into a $100,000 renovation because there's massive issues in it. And that's something the building and pest can work out as well. But yeah, for me, it's making sure that it's the right home for you in the right location, and that you're in love with the home, especially if you're an owner occupier.
So you do want people to be in love with the home, but for the
I do.
right reasons, not in love with
For the
the
right price.
staging. Right.
That's right. Yes, absolutely. I think staging's great. Don't get me wrong, but it's about looking at the home in general, and if it's practical for you.
Would you prefer that there was no staging in the market then? But it does sound like it's also helping you. Like if you see a home that you know is going to be a good investment, the client might not see the vision and love it unless it's got the staging to win them over. So perhaps the staging's also helping you at some point.
I honestly think staging's got a place. Absolutely has a place. I'm all for it. But
So it's not a race that you're trying to get to the home before it's staged? Is there this like, no, I need it off market before you stage it. Promise me you won't.
Yeah, no, definitely not. I just don't want my clients overpaying for it. And because with staging, I feel brings emotions.
Yeah.
Because how good they do it. And staging people are just so good at their job to make the houses look beautiful with all their, modern and new furniture. And it brings in that emotions, and it helps people overpay for properties.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what
think
I find.
It's kind
Hold
of
that.
funny, like how much of a difference having like a hot little red espresso machine in the kitchen can do when you're not getting that red espresso machine.
No, you've got your kettle there for your instant coffee.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
That's
no,
interesting
for me, it's a great mindset thing to help people overpay.
to help
You know,
people.
and that's a seller's job, right? They got the best interest for their clients, and I'm sure the sellers pay for the staging to make sure that they get more money.
I actually have an aunt. Well, she's an ex-aunt now because a divorce. She's out of the family, but yeah, she actually set a property record in the North Shore. So you would be saying to her, "Man, you should have got a buyer's agent, right?" That's not something to be proud of. Where in actual fact, I suspect there was a little bit of a kind of brag. We got a property record. Not if you're buying, right?
No.
If you're selling, brag.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, if I find out one day, and it may happen, fingers crossed it doesn't. But if I ever buy a property and I hear it's the street record, I'll be shattered.
You'll be shattered.
I'll be shattered. Yeah. I mean, it's not my job. It's my job to make sure they pay the right price, and not the record.
Do you have a title that you seek? Cheapest buy on the market? Like, is there a
well,
brag?
no, I don't know that, but I've got one thing I like to say is how much money I've made for my clients in a certain period of time. So I bought the property, $18,000 below market value, but now the property is worth $45,000 more in 3 months.
Right, profit. You've got the highest profit for your client.
Yeah. So, that's how much equity they've got now, and that's what I've been able to do for my clients. And it's just, again, picking the right region at the right time. So, and, there's markets that, will be really good for a certain period of time, and then they'll go a little bit quiet for a little bit, and then they'll get a second wind.
And do you have a crystal ball? Can you know which ones
I'm working on one of them. I'm working on one. I haven't got one yet. I don't think I will in my lifetime, but it's just about stacking the numbers, and data doesn't lie.
Thanks so much for joining us, Cameron, and also happy birthday. Here's a special surprise gift for you, Bon Jovi style. Thanks everyone for listening in. I'm Wendy Claire of Huge Interiors. Join us next week for our next episode of Meet the Agent podcast.
It's real estate in sunny Cairns. Now they're putting away for their future years. Said, honey, meet the agent, and we'll make it, I swear. Meet the agent, invest and buy. Real estate is the best, and I'm your partner, my guy. Meet the agent, invest and buy. Meet the agent, invest and buy.